Hi guys, it's Tom Demac for Sonic Academy, and today I'm going to show you a quick tip on getting that sort of discotheque bass sound that's very common in dance music at the minute. I've got a basic loop here to play you. It's one I made earlier, Vibes. So what I've done is I've just gone and made or recorded a simple steppy bass line. Only very simple notes covering sort of 3 notes over a sort of structure. Very straightforward. And I've dropped the Analogue synth on there from the Ableton instruments. And it's just to show you again, not synth brass, it's synth bass. And it's the simple bass. It's the simple bass. Basically comes up like that. It's one oscillator using a sawtooth wave. As you can see, the channel's sort of panning here. This is the LFO, so we're going to turn that off. I'm not going to need LFO on this particular bass sound. And then make a few adjustments. Just pull the cutoff frequency down. Bring up the decay a little bit. And pull the envelope amount down. And then just pull the frequency up a little bit. That sounds about right. Now what we might want to do is introduce this second oscillator. It's currently set on 2 octaves higher, so we're going to pull that down to 0. Pull the semitones down to 0 too. It's just making it a little bit fatter. Cool, so let's hear that in the mix. Sounding alright. So let's make some, let's add some subtle processing. So let's select EQ8 and then make sure it's on high quality. So what we're going to do here is just do a very sort of low end cut around 40 Hertz. Don't want the really subby frequencies coming through, which might not be audible to our ears in the studio. However, they are audible on the club sound system, and also when it's getting cut to a record, then it might cause a few difficulties with the cutting lathe too. So what we can do is tune up the sort of high bass frequencies. As it's a square bass sound, we can bring some of those out. So I'm just going to tune that second frequency band. I'm going to pull the resonant frequency up, so we're working with a tighter area. Pull the gain up, and then that's about right. So open that up, the resonant frequency, pull the gain down, open it up a little bit more, and then let's pick out some of these higher areas as well. That's about right. Open that up. Okay, some subtle EQ, we can turn that off. Let's just tighten her up a little bit really. So we're going to add a bit of saturation on that. Let's pump this drive, the distortion up. That's cutting through quite a bit, so let's just pull the wet frequency, the wet signal down. In fact, you know what I might do? Select a bit warmer preset on there. Pull the wet signal down, and indeed the drive. Now that's sounding good. I'm just going to pull down the channel. It's got a bit more headroom. Put a bit of compression on as well. Oops, put a bit of compression on as well. Got some gain reduction there, so let's solo that. So it's working quite hard, it's quite heavy compression. Pull the attack, we want a fast attack and a slow release. We pull the gain reduction down, the threshold back up a little bit. and then ease this saturator down too. Cool, let's hear that in the mix. That's about as loud as that bass can go in the mix at the moment. So what we can do, it's a nice little trick, duplicate that channel. Now, at the moment, the way this is sounding, that bass is going to cut through in the club, but this sort of music, we're making this sort of discotheque music. You know, there's going to be a lot of girls putting their makeup on before they go out, listening to this sort of music. There's going to be boys who are playing their fake tan and their guy liner too. So what you do need to do is maybe cater for an octave higher in the bass, because in home sound systems and also laptop speakers, which sadly the majority of us are listening to music or previewing music on, it's not going to cut through. So it adds a bit more clarity and a bit more oomph in the club, and also it's giving you sort of benefits for the home listener too. So what we're going to do is just use the same bass sound, duplicate it, the same bass notes. I'm just going to select them. I'm going to move it an octave higher. So there we go, let's have a listen to those together. There's a way of doing that. If you're too lazy to move the notes up an octave, just go into the MIDI effects, select pitch, and you can drop the octave higher one in there, or select any increments that you want really. So let's play those two together. I reckon they'll be pretty loud at the minute. But already you can hear that octave higher, the bass is a lot clearer too. So what we're going to do is change the EQ settings that we put on before. We're going to take more of the low end out of there. So we'll listen to that. Yeah, so this sort of low frequencies here, we cut those out because they're going to be represented by the octave lower. Let's boost some of these higher frequencies. So I've tightened up the resonant frequency on frequency band 2, boost the gain. It's about right there. So we'll open it back up again, so we're working with a larger area. Cool. Another little thing we can do, I'm happy with the saturator there. Another little thing we can do is possibly pull the envelope amount out on this first filter. Let's pull that up a little bit so it's opening up. Let's hear those two together. Cool. There'll be some leveling that we'll do. But one other little trick with the bottom bass frequency is you always want your bass to be mono. So we're going to drop the mono utility on there. So it's just in your live devices, utility mono. So now the sub-ear bass, or certainly the lower frequency bass, is in mono. And what we can do with this bass here, the higher bass, is drop a chorus on there, which is going to widen it up. Let's close that compressor folder and grab the chorus. Pop that in there before the saturator. But what we can do is literally, the preset chorus is great for this sort of sound. As you can see already, the level meter there, it is wavering around left and right, but that's fine. It's giving it a wider bass sound now. So the higher frequency bass is a lot wider. Let's play them both together. Cool. I think we can even pull that cutoff frequency down slightly on this second bass. And also the level too. Now, a good way of doing this, pull it right down to 0 and then fade it in and see where it sees fit. That's just the low one. That's about right. Move a little bit more. About there, so I've put that up to -16 dB, and then we can group the two channels together. Call it bass, and then drop a compressor on those two channels. On the group channel, again, fast attack, slow release, and let's pull that threshold down. It's really working hard there. Let's hear it in the mix. Cool, happy with that. There's your sort of discotheque bass line. Cheers.
Thanks everybody for watching, commenting and indeed liking. We really do appreciate all the support we get here on our Sonic Academy YouTube channel. So if you found this video super useful, please, we'd love you to hit the subscribe button. We update the YouTube channel every week with new content. And if you want to watch some more relevant content, just click on the videos beside me.